can clearly see today, let me give kudos to taxpayers in general in Nigeria, including workers like me who pay that tax should not be avoided, because tax is an integral part of what support government in supporting agencies like TED Fund, who by extension support education massively throughout the country.
The students of this state-owned institution are exposed to practical hands-on teaching in the field of broadcast and journalism.
You cannot believe.
The department also has a standard, well-equipped television broadcast studio. Funding for research and development is a deliberate policy of the federal government. Through disbursements from the Education Tax Fund collected by the Federal Inland Revenue Service, the production of this electric car at the Federal Polytechnic Nekede in Owerri, Imo State was possible. This invention is in line with the new global automotive policy of producing eco-friendly and energy-efficient vehicles powered by electricity and renewable energy.
I have always had the dream, the wish to produce a car. I saw the opportunity to write a proposal to produce this project, and TED Fund approved it. It's been very interesting seeing this coming to being.
With the much that the Federal Inland Revenue Service is doing in meeting and surpassing its annual revenue target, more funding is pouring in to support capacity building programs for beneficiary institutions. This is aimed at improving global competitiveness and visibility, which are already translating into specialized skills being developed by beneficiary higher institutions of learning in Nigeria. Support to ICT is a major area on the mandate list of the TED Fund.
We have benefited a lot. You can see all over this place. Today we have e-library in place in Kogi State Polytechnic. At least our students can now go online. They can go electronic to have access to different materials.
Building of standard libraries and the provision of books are also achieved with the utilization of taxpayers' money.
Assuming organizations were not paying tax regularly, there would have been no TED Fund. Is it not from the tax that we pay that TED Fund gets its money, which is distributed among higher institutions and so on and so forth?
Like the attention given to the physical infrastructure, the welfare of staff in the area of continuous training locally and abroad is also considered a priority.
My name is Dr. Ekele Thompson Oshedi.
Dr. Ekele from Kogi State Polytechnic, Lokoja, is able to earn this academic title courtesy of taxpayers' money. He is a beneficiary of government intervention in the area of academic training, awarded a scholarship to study at the United Kingdom in October 2014. Upon completion, he is back and driving a revolution in energy efficiency in Lokoja, Kogi State, Nigeria.
I benefited from the academic staff training and development. In 2014, I got approval to do my PhD in UK. In our time, we were given about 24 million as a staff. Considering what I earn, how many years will I be able to save 24 million to have traveled to the UK? So even if I have that idea, it will just die there. So my appeal and encouragement to taxpayer is that their effort is not wasted. I am an example.
Like Dr. Ekele, the fund has served as a catalyst for many, lifting their passion, leading to accomplishments for themselves and the country. Feats that were before now only imagined.
I was privileged to be among those that benefited from TED Fund. That's 2012. That intervention has really helped me during my studies because financially I'm a little bit buoyant. I was able to do most of my research.
I thank God for TED Fund. I had my master's degree, and it's through TED Fund I did my PhD in linguistics at Imo State University in Owerri. I represent a majority of academic staff in Nigerian institutions and especially in Alvan, to the extent that today this college boasts of nothing less than 240-something PhD holders. Before the introduction of TED Fund sponsorship for scholarship, the number, I can assure you, was below 100. After thanking the taxpayers, I also like to appeal to them. Don't relent.
I got the TED Fund sponsorship in 2013 for my PhD program, which I went for in South Africa, specifically University of KwaZulu-Natal in Durban, to further my studies in the research on solar energy as a renewable alternative energy source. And it's really helped me, and it contributed to my finishing on time because I didn't have to suffer for need of fund.
I obtained admission into International University of Africa, Khartoum, the Republic of Sudan, and pursued master and PhD degrees in 2014 and 2018 respectively. Our salaries, local salaries, cannot cater our family needs as well as pursue high degrees, particularly outside the country. I am telling you, if Nigerians will really cooperate and give their contribution, particularly tax paying, we will reach to that state we are envying.
These are bold statements reflective of the new vision in the country's education sector. It seeks to explore innovative ways for adequate funding for an assured future. Yonda Oladimeji of Yaba College of Technology published the first indigenous textbook in the field of studio design in 2015. His interest in contributing to knowledge through publications was made possible through the education tax disbursed by the TED Fund.
It was very difficult to raise funds because to produce then, I needed close to about 2-3 million, which I didn't have. But so TED Fund made it easy for me. So in fact, that was the first, but that was and is still the first book we published through TED Fund in Yaba College of Technology, and I think I have the credits to that. And presently now, I'm going through my second publication through TED Fund also.
Dr. Harrison, an associate professor with the Department of Botany, is one of the 4 recipients of the funds for the production of textbooks in Delta State University, Abuja. He encourages taxpayers to voluntarily pay their tax.
So I just want to use this opportunity to tell the citizens out there, do the right thing, pay your tax, help the government too, not just for you as well, but for your children and for the betterment of the citizens of this great country.
For the students, the benefits of having well-trained teachers, convenient lecture halls, as well as equipped laboratories make learning a lot easier. These, they are aware, appreciative, and join in the call to taxpayers for voluntary payment of taxes.
I want to actually appreciate them for everything because they have really been good. They have done great in this our school.
The federal government of Nigeria, from all indications, have succeeded in utilizing these taxpayers' money effectively in the interest of the Nigerian student. So to enable the TED Fund initiative to achieve its aims and objectives, it is very important that the Nigerian citizens to be more patriotic with their taxes.
So we want to say thank you very much because we are the beneficiary now, because we really study very well and then we enjoy the environment when we find ourselves.
I have to say a very big thank you to taxpayers, those who remember the country and deem it fit to pay their tax. It has been helpful.
It is therefore worthy of mention that the education tax is the magic wand for education development in Nigeria. It is through the instrumentality of the EDT that many Nigerian universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education are now wearing a new look. things can be much better if all stakeholders play their roles and own up to the obligations of remitting their tax returns, disbursements, and proper utilization for the good of the society. Education is the bedrock of every society, and the Federal Inland Revenue Service is committed to playing her part to ensure this all-important sector of the society continues to thrive. Like this fountain, the money you pay as tax goes in circles and comes back to you in different forms. The possibilities are surely endless as it pays to pay your tax. The struggle for independence had been a long and tough one. Our founding fathers and compatriots sacrificed their comfort and even shed their
Like in many other countries, food prices have risen steadily in Nigeria over the years due to the effects of climate change, the COVID-19 pandemic, and other internal and external factors. Sadly, the impact of the 2022 floods on agriculture and food production was devastating, resulting in the loss of crops, livestock, and other essential agricultural infrastructure. Consequently, farmers and investors suffered huge losses. The National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, revealed that 33 of the 36 states in Nigeria experienced the 2022 floods, many of the affected states relying heavily on food production as means of livelihood. This development sets back Nigeria's food security drive, especially at a time when internal security challenges, the Russia-Ukraine war, and high exchange rate continue to exacerbate the situation, adding burden to the economy and household income. Will there be food shortages and rise in the price of food items as a result of this natural occurrence? Will the cost of production occasioned by cost of fertilizer, chemicals, and other inputs have negative impact on produce? What are the plans of governments at all levels to augment the losses incurred during the rainy season? These are some of the questions We Can File seeks to answer tonight. I'm Ian Ray John, and Engineer Abubakar Garba, Director, Department of Agriculture, Federal Capital Development Authority, is our guest on We Can File. Thank you for joining us. But first, the news. The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, says no part of the country will be forgotten in the next government that he intends to form, should Nigerians vote him into office February next year. He made a promise while addressing a mega rally of the party in Lagos. Adeniyi Taiwo reports.
The sun is high up there, scorching, but as hot and scorching as it is no match for the spirit of supporters who convert from Lagos and beyond on Teslim Balogun Stadium, awaiting the arrival of the APC presidential candidate, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and his running mate.
We don't expect anything less. This is Lagos. You know what Asiwaju did in Lagos while he was governor?
The cheering crowd did not have to wait for long as the presidential candidate arrived at the venue in a motorcade accompanied by his running mate, members of the party's presidential campaign council, and the host governor, Babajide Sanwo-Olu. One after the other, all the speakers, including the party's national chairman, took to the podium to extol the pan-Nigeria disposition of the candidate, describing him as a bridge builder whose vast experience would help to push the frontiers of peace and socio-economic development of the country.
When they ask you who is Tinubu, tell them Femi Gbajabiamila, the Speaker of the House, said Tinubu is the greatest politician in modern day Nigerian politics.
People of Eko, if other people across Nigeria say they want Chakaba as the next president, will you reject him?
It is not done until it is done. It is not over until it is over.
In an address interspersed with songs about his mandate, Asiwaju Bola Tinubu declared his intention to continue on the path of progressive governance.
You will not be forgotten in education, in healthcare, in employment. You will not be forgotten.
The rally, which saw the candidate endorsing the second-term bid of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is expected to be the first among many scheduled to hold in the state. In Lagos, Adeniyi Taiwo, NTA News.
And from Lagos, we head to Delta State, where the All Progressives Congress presidential candidate Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has promised turnaround of the Niger Delta region by meeting their needs when elected. He considers himself as best for the job among other contenders. The APC presidential candidate made the pledge in Oporoza, Warri Southwest, while meeting with stakeholders and leaders of Ijo. Tessie Kuka brings us details.
Second visit to Delta State in a week, but this time he's in the creek of the Niger Delta region, Oporoza, in the Baramatu Kingdom of Warri Southwest local government area of Delta State, to rub minds with stakeholders, political and traditional leaders of the region.
We won't be far away from you. We will carry you along. We will consult with you regularly. Our brothers here, we will embrace them for the development of the area, the community of Baramatu.
For the Delta President of the Senate and APC Delta State governorship candidate Ovioma Agege, the need of the people is a task that must be accomplished by Bola Ahmed Tinubu if elected.
The EPZ is a very, very key project that is dear to all of us, not just here in the Ijo nation, but also in the Shekiri nation. And all of this can only come to pass if we elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu as our president.
The APC presidential candidate is the first to visit the palace of the Agadagba of Baramatu Kingdom. The visit was honored with the title of Iyawale by the monarch. On the deputy president of the Senate, Ebime Kowe, Baramatu Kingdom. Tessie Koka, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party and former vice president of Nigeria, Atiku Abubakar, has held an interactive session with leaders of corporate Nigeria on his blueprint for the socio-economic and political development of the country. In a statement, his media advisor, Paul Ibe, says during the meeting, which had leading business leaders in attendance, Atiku Abubakar and his running mate, Ifeanyi Okowa, discussed their plans for security, fiscal and monetary matters, power, oil and gas, as well as industrialization. And in Adamawa State, Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed has called for unity among APC members for the victory of the party at all levels. She stated this during a rally in Yola to celebrate her victory at a court of appeal, which reinstated her as APC governorship candidate in Adamawa State. Nafisatu Abdulhamid Dembos reports.
It was a grand entry to Yola by Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani to celebrate her victory at the appeal court Yola, which reinstated her as APC governorship candidate Adamawa State for the 2023 general elections. The motorcase of Senator Aishatu Dahiru Ahmed Binani from Yola International Airport went through the major street of Yola to thank the people for the show of support.
I urge all of us to bury our differences and forge ahead
as one family, because that is the only way. That is the only way we can assure the victory of all our candidates from presidential election through to House of Assembly.
The APC governorship candidates promised to carry everyone along in the task of building a new Adamawa if given the mandate. Various speakers at the occasion applauded the judgment of the appeal court, saying they will continue to mobilize support for the APC candidate in Adamawa State. In Yola, Nafisa to Abdul Hamid Dembos, NTA News.
And away from politics, tactical operatives of Zamfara State Police Command, in collaboration with the vigilante, have rescued 6 women and a 1-year-old baby kidnapped by terrorists at Kadmusta village in Zurmi local government area of the state. A statement issued by the spokesman for Zamfara State Police Command, Shehu Muhammad, says the operatives conducted an operation along Zurmi-Dibia axis where the victims were rescued, after which they were medically checked, debriefed, and handed over to their families. The Acting Comptroller General of Immigration, Issa Dere Idris, has directed that some passport offices in the country to open on Saturdays to enable them reduce the backlog occasioned by the 2020 and 2021 prolonged lockdown due to the COVID-19 pandemic. In a statement by the Public Relations Officer, Tony Akuneme, the acting CGI has also approved the immediate redeployment of the passport controllers in Ondo and Ekiti states to improve the process of passport issuance, especially as the festive season approaches, in order to make passport services easily available to the traveling public. And now, looking at health, the Society of Gynecology and Obstetrics of Nigeria, SOGAN, has reaffirmed its commitment to achieving the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, reducing maternal, newborn, mortality and sexual reproductive health. President of SOGAN, Dr. Habib Sadauki, affirmed this while speaking on the outcome of its 56th annual conference supported by Development Research and Project Center under its Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation funded project. Ngozi Technical reports.
Annual mortality rate in Nigeria, according to SOGAN president, is estimated at 512 deaths per 100,000 live births, which is against the SDG's target of 70 per 100,000 live births. Based on this, SOGAN is appealing to President Muhammadu Buhari to give assent to the bill on maternal, prenatal and child death surveillance and response as a legacy to Nigerians.
It empowers each community, health facility, and the state to reflect on deaths incurred in their domain and respond with locally appropriate solutions for preventing recurrences of similar deaths. Gender-based violence is still dominant in Nigeria, with 1 in 3 women reporting one form of physical or sexual abuse. There is a need to ensure access to safe abortion to reduce the high rate of death and the morbidities associated with unsafe abortion.
Other resolutions, according to them, are the need to invest more in family planning in the 2023 budget, strengthening the nation's health human resources due to brain drain, and more sensitization against the increasing cases of gender-based violence.
So we feel that there is a need to have an active program in the country. WHO has directed that 90% of our youth should be really protected before the year 2030. And that 70% of women should have regular access to, at least 70% should have regular access to tests to identify for precancerous condition. And 90% of women should have access to good cancer treatment.
While applauding the Minister of Health, Dr. Osagi Ehanire, for his support, SOGAN expresses confidence in attaining universal health coverage for all citizens with the continuous support of development partners. Ngozi Technical, NTA News.
And still talking health, securing a place for the mandatory internship or housemanship for graduates of medical and other allied health courses has continued to be a Herculean task, just as health authorities have also been re-strategizing on ways to address the problem. The Pharmacy Council of Nigeria, PCN, has now inaugurated an ad hoc committee with the task of improving placement for pharmacy graduates. Olusheye Adiagbo has details.
Internship or housemanship is a mandatory one-year training at an accredited health institution. Every graduate of medical and other allied health courses must go through before getting certified. Securing placement at present for these students has now become a case of survival of the fittest.
It is my pleasure to integrate this committee.
Consequently, PCN has come up with the strategy to change the narrative.
The terms of reference for the ad hoc committee will be as follows: to review the present modalities of the internship training program and propose modalities for improvement.
The challenges of placement require multi-sectoral approach, and that indeed necessitated the wisdom of the Governing Council to constitute this committee.
With terms and references properly split out, members of the committee accepted the task with the promise to apply due diligence in carrying out the tasks. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
In other news, the Northeast Development Commission says it will continue to collaborate with more donor agencies in the task of rebuilding the region for the socio-economic development of the area. Managing Director of the Commission, Mohammed Goni Alkali, stated this when he received the Deputy Regional Director of the United Nations Office for Project Services. Ilyasu Yakubu reports.
Since the establishment of the Northeast Development Commission by President Muhammadu Buhari in 2017, with the sole aim of rebuilding the entire region to give the people a new lease of life, donor agencies have been collaborating with the Commission to realize this set objective. The United Nations Office for Project Services has been providing services for the rebuilding, rehabilitation, and recovery of the victims of insurgency in the Northeast. The UN Deputy Director, Project Services, Delila Goncalves, promised to provide other necessary support that will see to the actualization of total rebuilding of the region.
We have these 100 units, that ensure that what we are developing is accordingly to international standards, and it is also part of the new resilient infrastructure that we want.
Very soon, we are going to write comprehensively to you on all these issues so that we can be able to prioritize it and see what needs to be done as a low-hanging fruit now, and then go to short, medium, and long term, along with other agencies.
In Abuja, Ilyasu Yakubu, NTA News.
You're watching Weekend File on the network service of the NTA. Time for a break. Please stay.
The next PMB Administration Scorecard series will feature the Honorable Minister of Agriculture and Rural Development, Dr. Mohammed Mahmoud Abubakar. Date, Monday, November 28th, 2022. Time, 10:30 a.m. Venue, National Press Center, Radio House, Abuja. The event will be covered live by NTA, FRCN, and VON, and streamed on the social media handles of the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture. Announcer, Mrs. Lydia Shehu Jafia, MNI, Permanent Secretary, Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Fighting here and there, we don't want it at all. Killing people today, tomorrow, we don't want it at all. And we don't want separation. You do your own, I do my own. Take it, they go. No. We don't want that one. We may quarrel and disagree, but let it be on the table of dialogue. No blood, chaos, war, violence. Let us stand with our nation as one people. We must also stand for the armed forces. They are our husbands and wives. They are our brothers and sisters. Please support the armed forces, whose lives are always on the front line to protect our nation. Nigeria is your own. Nigeria is mine. Nigeria is our own. And uniqueness is in our oneness. Our oneness is our strength.
You clean your teeth every morning, but that fresh breath feeling just doesn't last. The answer? Easy. You keep your teeth strong and healthy and give your mouth long-lasting fresh breath with new Oral-B 2-in-1 toothpaste. It helps strengthen your teeth and gives you long-lasting fresh breath.
So fresh, feel fresh, and feel fresh.
Stay strong, stay fresh. New Oral-B toothpaste for strong teeth and long-lasting fresh breath.
Every healthy family needs the right amount of energy to start their day, but sourcing for breakfast's splendid blend of nutritious multigrains? Big wahala. With the new Kellogg's Gold Grain cereal, you don't have to go through all of that. So now, your mornings can look like this.
Go, 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 Gold Grain. Love the goodness of its multigrain. With protein and creamy tasty Kellogg's Gold Grains.
With vitamins and minerals in Kellogg's Gold Grains.
Go, 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 Gold Grains. Love the goodness of its multigrain.
Kellogg's Gold Grain is a breakfast cereal fortified with vitamins and minerals from the goodness of multigrains like maize, guinea corn, rice, and soya. Kellogg's Gold Grain.
Does your toothpaste give you complete fresh protection? New Close Up Toothpaste Complete Fresh Protection takes care of your 5 important oral care needs. It gives you strong teeth, prevents tooth holes, cleans deeply, fights bacteria, and gives you fresh breath. Complete fresh protection from Close Up.
My people, my name is Emeka. Meku scammers. Let me get all this people. I don't learn my lesson. Somebody come buy motor for my hand, carry big money, come give me. Now when we get bust, then my eye open. I don't know to that 419 be. Now when EFCC grab them, then they come grab me too. Now he make me they warn you. All of them when they do business like me, where they carry big money. When I go sometimes I go carry transfer, carry bring back. They could shine in my eye because the special control unit against money laundering, when they call SCUMO, they don't want to say if the money pass 5 million naira for individual, no collect them. If it pass 10 million naira for company, no collect them. Can I go where? Bank. If you don't do them like that, 250,000 naira for every day where this offense happen, or they go suspend your license, or they go shut them down for your hand. No talk say I know 1 year.
This message is from the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC.
Welcome back. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, says short-term outlook of the Nigerian economy for 2023 looks good, with an expected decline in inflation by 15% by end 2023, as the Apex Bank continues to maintain tight monetary policy that will curtail inflation pressure. Amaka Obo reports that the Apex Bank Governor, Godwin Emefiele, gave the insight at the 57th Annual Bankers' Dinner by the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria, held in Lagos.
Economic development that shaped the economic landscape in 2022 and policies deployed by the Central Bank of Nigeria to cushion the effects of shocks posed by global unfavorable economic realities. Governor of the Apex Bank, Godwin Emefiele, while presenting a paper titled Radical Responses to Abnormal Episodes for Innovative Decision-Making, said the global economic outlook has its effects on the nation's economy. That's notwithstanding policies put in place by the Apex Bank in supporting various sectors of the economy, such that it has improved the non-oil sector earnings to $2.5 billion and the restructuring of the Naira to mop up excess liquidity and promote the use of the e-Naira, have had positive impact on the economy.
Whilst the global best practice is to undertake currency redesign every 5 to 8 years, our existing banknotes have remained unchanged in almost 20 years. It is therefore no longer tenable to continue with business as usual, especially given the continually evolving circumstances that could impinge the optimal performance of the Naira.
The executive of the Chartered Institute of Bankers of Nigeria applauded the Central Bank of Nigeria for upholding ethics and proper regulation of the banking profession.
I would like to use this medium to acknowledge and express our appreciation to Mr. Governor for your contribution to the institute and the economy as a whole.
Awards were presented to various outstanding professionals from various banking institutions with proven track record for excellence. Come January 2023, the use of the old Naira notes will be unacceptable as a nation's legal tender. In Lagos, Amaka O, NTA News.
In other news, SACA has come to aware of vulnerable groups in the Niger Delta region as over 190 women and youths have benefited from the empowerment scheme of the Niger Delta Development Commission in collaboration with the Empowerment Support Initiative, a non-governmental organization in Port Harcourt. Osinachi Abraham reports.
There are 198 participants at the 7th batch of the NDDC ESI program, a capacity building program of the Commission that is aimed at moving the vulnerable groups out of poverty by making them business owners and employers of labor.
And this program has had more value to my life. I've learned many lessons, and this program has made me the CEO of my own.
Acting NDDC Managing Director Emmanuel Audu said that the training is in line with the federal government's plans to lift 100 million people out of poverty.
We can say that at least these 200 people will leave that poverty bracket. And this sort of programs, if other agencies are doing it, before you know it, a lot of people will be out of the poverty bracket.
Founder Empowerment Support Initiative, Dame Judith Amechi, thanked NDDC for the partnership. She noted that the primary goal of the initiative is to enable youths and women have access to empowerment opportunities through vocational training.
Make good use of the opportunity before you. Don't let it slip out of your finger.
These 198 women and youths were trained in cashless banking operations and agency banking. Certificates and starter packs were also given to them. The starter packs NDDC ones must not be sold. In Port Harcourt, Osinachi Abraham, NTA News.
We head to the Confluent State now, where the Governor, Yahya Bello, has addressed an audience of members of the Technical Mission of the Value Chain Development Program of the federal government in Lokoja. The Governor expressed confidence in the potential of the program to boost agricultural development and enhance self-sufficiency of the youth. Solomon Ayidehin reports.
The Value Chain Development Program is an agricultural project targeted at engaging poor rural households in production, processing, and marketing of rice and cassava in Kogi State. The program is a collaboration of both the state and the federal government, assisted by the International Funding for Agricultural Development, IFAD, spurred by the impact of the 2022 floods on cluster farms of the beneficiaries. The group technical team were in Kogi State to assess some of the challenges and prospects involved with the implementation of the program, tagged Midterm Review Mission.
We know your commitment has been concrete. The counterpart funding expected from the state government to help the VCDP program achieve its results. This counterpart funding are regularly dispersed to the projects.
Our own commitment will not fall short in terms of counterpart funding and every other thing that you require to support IFAD.
The team's visit is to secure additional funding for the program for Kogi State. In Lokoja, Solomon Ayedehi, NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari congratulates the Anglican Bishop of Owerri Province, Most Reverend David Onwoha, on his election as the National President of the Christian Council of Nigeria. In a statement by Special Advisor to the President on Media and Publicity, Femi Adesina, The president describes Onuoha's emergence as a testament of his capacity as a church leader and wishes him success in his new role. Time for another break. Please stay.
If you want to become something, become a child again. Why be patient? If you must worry, don't worry about winning. Why worry about germs? When you come home, bring tales and stories. Why bring in germs?
Shield your families from germs. When Dettol is a part of every household bucket, then you and your family can stay protected from up to 100 illness-causing germs.
Everyday use of Dettol keeps my loved ones protected.
Brookville Hotel and Suites. We are poised to ensuring your happiness and comfort. At Brookville Hotel and Suites, we are hospitable and value our customers. Our cuisines are healthy and tasty. We have a secured environment and we give your event a top-notch touch. Brookville Hotel and Suites has an array of rooms and conference halls that gives you the desired variety. Access our swimming pool and gym where professionalism is at its peak. Visit us today at Plot 553, Cadastral Zone, Gadua District, opposite Lokogoma Junction, Abuja, FCT.
This world is not mine.
The death as a court of Yafin Halis Buraola Akinola, mother to Engineer Michael Akinola, Chief Executive Officer of the Marvelous Mike Press Limited. She passed on the 6th of November at the age of 84. She is survived by children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. She will be laid to rest in her hometown in Abeokuta, Ogun State on the 13th of January 2023. Activities leading to a final rest will be announced in the coming days as the management and staff of Marvelous Mike Press Limited invite friends and the public to attend. Announcer, Engineer Michael Akinola, MD CEO, Marvelous Mike Press Limited, for the family.
I can't feel at home.
Welcome back. The impact of the devastation on the social and economic well-being of farmers is translating to high inflation on the prices of agricultural produce. A survey conducted by the National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services indicates that the 2020 wet season farming activities 2022 wet season farming activities was disrupted by the flood. Musa Babaliyu expressed the survey documents.
The 2022 flood has washed away the anticipated joy and smile in the faces of farmers in 34 states. The flood in some states came when farmers were getting ready to harvest their produce. A survey conducted by the National Agricultural Extension and Research Liaison Services of Ahmadu Bello University Zaria indicates that the flood has adversely affected farmers' output this year.
And there were good hope of bumper harvest. Because even though there is some fluctuation at the takeoff of the rainy season, by the time I come back, all the hope of harvest and whatever I had was turned down.
These losses have brought psychological trauma on our women farmers, many of whom took loans, rented lands, hired equipment, and are now unable to repay their debts.
Pests and diseases, as well as high cost of inputs, were also challenges that confronted farmers this year.
Mr. President should direct the Central Bank of Nigeria to urgently provide funds for farmers for the 2022-2023 dry season farming.
In the meantime, the Federal Minister of Agriculture has outlined special program and support for 2022-2023 dry season farming.
Engagement in land preparation in collaboration with the state and local governments to open more land and take advantage of residual moisture for dry season farming.
However, farmers expressed the hope that the CBN will release funds for the dry season. Musa Baba Aliyu, NTA News.
Meanwhile, stakeholders in the food value chain believe that challenges inhibiting cost and Famaka will give us the story.
Is essential to the survival of man. It is a well-known fact that in recent times there has been consistent increase in the price level of food items. However, despite the rising cost of purchasing food items, people have no choice than to ensure they have food on their table.
If I come to buy this in market 1,000 naira today, if I come tomorrow 1,200, next tomorrow the other day 1,300, it keep increasing every day by day.
Several factors were identified as reasons for the hike in the food prices. I engaged large-scale farmers like Taiwo Shinowo and others who cultivate maize in and out of season, among other crops, to give this year's assessment of harvest in relation to the cost of food items. They identified environmental factors as one of the reasons.
Harvesting this year, we are not seeing what we are expecting. Cost of all this mobility have been incurred on the goods or the produce.
One major challenge that is facing the agricultural landscape is the increasing cost of inputs, the change in weather patterns due to climate change.
No doubt the forces of demand and supply have a role to play in all of these.
It is obvious that this prices of food items is going to go up compared to what it has been before.
The use of technology in ensuring food sustainability has become pertinent in the face of increasing climate change affecting society. In Lagos, Amaka Owo, NTA News.
Many thanks, Amaka. Of course, the story is everywhere across the country. And joining me now in the studio is Abdullahi Abubakar, Director, Federal Department of Agriculture. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.
All right, let's look at the floods this year. Reports, everywhere, has it that amongst other sectors, agriculture was the worst hit. Now, what's the ministry doing to avert food crisis?
Yeah, thank you very much. Actually, the flood has ravaged most of the states in the country. But looking at it, it has not been the first time, even though it was hit this year. But the ministry is trying as much as possible to see that we have deployed inputs to farmers so that they can take advantage of the flood in terms of residual moisture agriculture, so that they can plant as the water is receding. They can use those land and plant early maturing crops so that they can harvest them before the next season. And it is also going to be a continuous thing, particularly where they are going to adapt irrigation, where they have their water bodies. We still want to see how we can support farmers with good seed, good agricultural practices, so that they can irrigate and have irrigation throughout the period, so that they can also regain what they have lost during the flooding that took place.
All right, now talking about, I'm sure you mean dry season farming now.
That's right.
Now, would this happen across all the states affected or in some selected states?
No, actually, we intend to take this to all the states that were affected. But the problem is some of the places, the water may not recede as expected. So the moment the water could not recede, there is nothing you can do about it. But we will just hope that they can participate in the real dry season that is coming up. Because this residual moisture irrigation is those places that naturally they were not supposed to have this flood, but due to one reason or the other, either blockages due of drainages or what have you, the flooding took place. So definitely the water will recede quickly. So this found that the water receded, they can easily plant something there that they can regain what they have lost.
All right, so that's a beautiful initiative by the ministry. Of course, outside the flood, other issues actually affected the food prices last year and this year. Talking about access to farming inputs, the high cost of fertilizer, especially, or rather, is still a challenge. Now, how do you intend to make that available, to smallholder farmers and affordable too?
Yes, the challenge of fertilizer, the high cost of fertilizer is really, really biting hard. Particularly when you compare the price of fertilizer last year with this year, it has really been a wide gap. But we can attribute that to the problem we are having between the Russia-Ukrainian war, where we don't have influx of this commodity from the other areas. But be that as it may, we are advising farmers to look inward. That is either composting to get their fertilizers in that manner, or at least using the liquid fertilizer that is very prominent and it has been tested and trusted. So people can go for that one for the meantime. But again, we are also making effort with the collaboration with the government of Morocco, trying to see how we can blend our fertilizers, particularly in the areas where it has been identified, the soil type has been identified. You don't just need NPK of 2015 or 2010. At least our blending plants can also make a lot of effort in trying to blend suitable fertilizers for our soil types in the states. We have a lot of blending plants, about 26 of them. I think government will support them to see how they can blend fertilizers that will be enough for this country. Well, as you know, you may be aware there is a project called the Green Imperative Project, which is a bilateral relationship between Nigeria and Brazil. Very recently, I think the Honorable Minister was a team traveled to Brazil, and the discussion was at high speed to the extent that we are just waiting for some few issues to be sorted out by the Ministry of Finance so that we can receive a consignment of our 10,000 units of tractors and 50,000 units of assorted implements. This will go a long way in supporting mechanizing agriculture in Nigeria. It may not be enough, yes, but again, there are efforts that are being made locally to see how we can partner with vendors who are manufacturer representative of tractors all over the world, to see how they can bring in these tractors so that we can support farmers with it, maybe in a kind of deferred payment arrangement, so that they can pay 40% as down payment, then the remaining 60% of the cost of the tractor can be paid over a period of 3 years. This arrangement is here right now. We are on it, and the collaboration is with the Bank of Agriculture, the Ministry of Agriculture, and those vendor partners who agree to supply these tractors to farmers. So any farmer that feels he can afford to pay for that tractor, he can easily go to the Bank of Agriculture, open an account, deposit 40% of the cost of the tractor, then he is good to go. But he will be assured of getting this tractor if he is paying his dues as at when due. So all these are arrangements that are in the pipeline, which I believe before the year runs out, it may come to fruition. And also the ministry has in its budgetary provision buy equipments that are sold to farmers at subsidized price, and they can take this equipment anywhere. We have them all over the country. It's just for you to apply to the Honorable Minister.
And then you get it without having to know anyone.
Exactly. Exactly.
Okay, all right. Exactly. We'll pause you there. But let's take this report now from Dawanu, one of the largest grain markets in Africa, where buyers and sellers are upholding their customary rendezvous of large volume of transactions despite increase in prices of grains, which may attribute to forces of demand and supply. Yahanasu Hassan, who visited the market, tells us more.
The season is here again, occasioned by the influx of large volumes of cultivated grains into Dawanu. Buyers and sellers from far and near are trooping into the market for routine transactions. Jospin Ogo came all the way from Delta State to take advantage of the season. She, however, said Slight decline in prices of commodity may not favor long-distance traders like her, considering the high cost of transportation they incur in evacuating their purchases to the south.
So as far as earlier as this year, we were transporting the goods at the rate of 1,300 by the 100 kg. Right now, we are paying 4,000 naira. Before this masala, we used to buy it 350, but today for the masala,
the rice is a lot more than 1,000, 1,002. But now local rice, myself I bought one day before yesterday, 1,600 per month.
The flood experience, according to marketers, must have triggered the high cost of commodity and therefore called on government to bring in more support to farmers to produce in abundance during the dry season farming to ensure food sufficiency. In Kano, Yohana Hassan, NTA News.
Many thanks, Johanna Sue. And, we hear that palm oil and gari are some of the food items with comparative advantage in Imo State. Unfortunately, the increase in price of these items is generating concern among consumers who now spend so much to procure the locally grown commodities. Kate Osunwa brings us details.
The cost of food items, including gari and palm oil, has become worrisome, especially considering the fact that they are locally produced in larger quantities in the country. In Imo State, for instance, Ohajiboma local government area is known for production of gari in commercial quantities over the years, but the product is now recording increase in price and shortage in supply, a situation some producers blame on lack of interest and recent flooding in the state.
Gari will be less. After this time now, as from 2 or 3 years coming, Gari will be less in Ohaji because they are selling their lands.
The youth is not farming again because of money. They leave it for the old mama to do again.
The situation is not different with palm oil, another crop with comparative advantage in Imo State, as current factory price stands at 23,000 naira for 25 liters jerry can and about 28,000 naira in the open market. According to John Akalasu and Anayo Edmond, the situation is not far from influence of major dealers in the product who procure them for export. Efforts are being made by concerned authorities to boost food production.
Some of our rice farmers in Imo State were sent to Enugu, so to receive the intervention, the training, the inputs.
In Owerri, Kate Osunwa, NTA News.
All right. Of course, the average Nigerian hopes that the prices of food items will actually come down. Now, coming back to you, Abdullahi Abubakar, before we went on the break, you talked about, trying to get tractors and, farm implements that, farmers can use, to get their farming on a higher scale. And you talked about being able to afford it and all of that. Now, the reports that we have in Jigawa, for example, the flood ravaged over 138,442 hectares of farmlands. In Nasarawa State, 45,000 hectares of Olam rice farm was swept away. The story is the same. Farmers have incurred so much losses. Is there any plan by the ministry, to compensate some of these farmers?
Well, as I said earlier, the plan is to see how they can recover from that shock. So by the time we provide them with inputs, which they can now plant, it will be high yielding, it will be
Are you providing the inputs free of charge?
Yes. We used to have rollout where we provide this input free of charge. And this is not even a different case. In fact, this is more even pathetic because they were expecting to have a bumper harvest, but because of the flood which come at no one's will, they have lost all that they have gained. But I think the most important thing is that these seeds and seedlings are prepared for us to see how farmers can get them and then put them into use, particularly for the residual moisture farming now. The moment that one is over, we are also providing farmers with viable seeds that they can plant for the dry season. And it is free of charge.
Okay, that's a great initiative coming from the ministry. And then are you going to be selective with this? Because I think over the years, when inputs like this are distributed, especially free of charge or at subsidized rate, you hear some farmers who are actually into farming tell you they don't get it. They're middlemen who get these things and then sell to them. So how do you intend to bridge this gap?
Very good. In fact, we have taken measures now because we always learn from our mistakes. We are now trying to promote cluster of farmers. There is no farmer that can come alone to say he is planting this and that. We want to cluster them together so that either they are doing the same crop or different crops. We at least have notice of what they are doing. We know the hectares they are cultivating. We know what quantity of seed they require, quantity of fertilizer, the liquid fertilizer they require, and the quantity of agrochemical they will require. So this is going to be targeted on either cooperatives or cluster of farmers, not individuals. We and smallholder farmers for that matter, because we understand a middle level farmer can afford some of these things, but we are targeting the smallholder farmer who actually has lost almost what he has gained over the season. So it is going to be free of charge.
All right, thank you. We hope that that is successful and you actually get to those who are into farming. On a final note, because of time, what's your prediction for food supply and food prices between now and the next farming season?
Yes, I think the issue of the food price hike is just a simple law of demand and supply. Definitely is because we don't have much, or there is panic buying and so on in some areas. But by the time we have bumper harvest for this dry season, I am sure it is going to be normalized.
All right. We hope so. Of course, that's the hope of every Nigerian who goes to the market.
Yes,
many thanks, Abdullahi Abubakar, from Director, Federal Department of Agriculture, Federal Ministry of Agriculture. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll take another break. Please stay.
Like overconfident women. Don't touch me without my permission.
I'm a playful guy and I do get carried away sometimes.
You are selfish, manipulative, and you are a narcissist. That's all I've done for you. What have you done for me? She called me Barry.
You know my mom doesn't know any better, right?
You say that now, but then when you see your mother, you start to act like you're a dead man. You were supposed to be more careful.
I've been.
Clearly not enough.
This is the moment we've been waiting. It's time to rise up, do it again. Africa, do your dance now. God, do your winning dance now. So we never lose it again. We gon' rise up, yes, we gon' rise up, Africa rise up. Africa rise up, yes, we gon' rise up, Africa rise up.
Let's have a bit of sports now.
On the ongoing FIFA
or live streaming via www.visiontv.co.uk.
And to watch NTA International in the USA, Canada, and Mexico, use the following satellite parameters.
You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
24 hours a day, 7 days a week. You can watch NTA International live on your TV, computer, iPad, tablet and phone. Log on to visiontv.co.uk and click on Entertainment, then NTAI. You can also download the iOS or Android app on your mobile devices to watch NTA International on the go, anywhere in the world. NTA International. Your window to the world.
Our pastors, our imams, in every church, in every mosque, please realize that in the course of praying for peaceful and transparent elections, we all have duties beyond prayers. If we want a stable society before, during, and after the elections, what should you be saying to those that worship with you? All Sundays and all Fridays, you are saddled with the responsibility of bringing up good generations. It is therefore your duty to both man and God to ensure peace all the time, no matter about elections alone. People talk to people and people listen. Talk to your followers. Make them listen to ensure peaceful 2023 elections. This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
This is the moment we've been waiting. It's time to rise up, do it again. Africa, do your dance now. God, do your winning dance now. So we never lose it again. Come on, yeah. We can rise up, yes, we gon' rise up, Africa rise up. Yeah, Africa rise up, yes, we gon' rise up, Africa rise up.
Your window to the world.
And welcome to another amazing edition of Your Weekend.
I'm telling you, oh, it has to be heat and it has to be steamy, it has to be hot, but we've decided that, somebody has to tell a story that is family oriented.
I'm not trying to fight you. Welcome to another edition of Talking Movie.
Who's everyone here ever cared about?
See, when you say poor, you can't call water. You can't see, you don't excavate water.
This is a #1 program, Gallery.
Do you love to gist or gossip?
It's not it is extremely wrong. And we cannot take it.
Hello everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Whip and Grill.
Welcome to the slant today, where we say it as it is and we get to enjoy ourselves talking about various things that are happening in our society.
I want to hear more, please. Beyond 6 packs.
Because your job still remains as the man to protect the woman, to project the woman.
You need to do that.
NTA, you can't beat the rich.
We all have stories to tell.
The small boy kicked me to open fire on me, so I said, okay, you can cross the right hand. So that's for how my right hand was cut off.
He's working with closely with which here that it was that guy. No, it's not an ordinary eye. No, it's not an eye. Juju use marry his wife.
It all depends on how I handle my story and how you're able to handle your own story.
It is what you decide in your mind that determines you, not your situation.
I don't hear well. But one thing is,